excited to introduce the new BRX48 hydraulically driven brush. Now you might be thinking, why would I need a brush for snow ice control? Well, if you think about it, you can't really beat a brush for things like stamped concrete. Anywhere there's deviations in the concrete, contours, that brush can flex and actually pull that ice and snow up out of those areas, giving you a nice clean surface. Now let's take a look at some of the details on this, and you're gonna really see how this is gonna be a piece of equipment you're gonna need. Next, what I want us to look at is the actual brush on the BRX48. Now, we of course have designed this out of some high durable material, all right? So it's gonna give you a long life. It's gonna actually last a long time. But there's gonna be points where you're gonna have to replace it. It's gonna wear down, which is why when we designed this, we made it extremely easy to service, all right? With the removal of a little bit of hardware, you can take the segments off and replace them easily. Now, there's also a point where you're gonna be taking this off the machine, and there's a lot of weight here. And what you don't want is that weight to be sitting on the brush bending these, all right? That's gonna give you a flat spot, which is why we've installed jack stands on both sides of the unit, so that when you detach it, you lower the jack stands and that's supporting the weight, not causing that deformation. Next, let's take a look at the caster wheels on the back and get a good understanding of the role they play in this brush. So now what we're looking at here on the back side is the dual caster wheel setup that we have. Now the reason for the caster wheels is to actually kind of take the load off of the brush itself and make sure that you're not putting too much down load on the brush, causing either deformation or early wear. So these are actually a good thing. They kind of minimize that pressure. Now these wheels are actually rotatable 360 degrees on both sides, and there's also a grease fitting in the axle of the wheel itself, which of course increases longevity. Now, the reason that you're going to want to adjust these is for two reasons really. One is to minimize the pressure, but the other one is as the brush wears, you can pick that caster wheel up, making better contact with the surface. Next, what I want to look at is the gearbox and how to lubricate the chain. So now what we're going to look at is the drive chain and the gears that actually rotate this broom. Now you know that everything is hydraulically driven, so here's your hydraulic drive motor, which is the high flow motor. This connects to a gear, which goes to a chain, which actually drives that brush. And with any type of a chain, there's gonna be times where you're gonna have to do some adjustments there. And we make it really simple. You take a cover off, there's 4 screws, you adjust the motor according to the calibration marks we have here, and you put the proper tension on the chain. Another thing that you're gonna have to do with this chain is, you're gonna have to lubricate it from time to time. So right on the top here of the housing, we have a plug that you take off, and it's got a hole in the center. You place that back over, you add your lubricant to the cap and let it drain off. You're doing that while the brush is rotating and you're lubricating your chain. Once that's done, you simply put the cap back in place and you're ready to go. Next, what I want to take a look at is the hydraulic quick connections for the BRX48. Now, as you look at the control panel here, you have 2 larger diameter connectors on the right-hand side. These are your high flow circuit. This is what you're going to connect to the hoses that give you the speed and the power that you need for the brush. The other 2 that you see here are simply used for angling right or left. Now they're smaller diameter, and it doesn't matter which one you go to, it's operator preference by which joystick they want to activate. Thank you today for watching, and remember, when snow and ice hits, Boss helps you restore order.